Hello and welcome to the XFDA Podcast number 6, and we're excited to be here. Brad, why are we here?
We are here for the Tombstone, Arizona, at the Monument Ranch for the XFDA Arizona State and District 6 shoot hosted by the Tombstone Regulators here in Arizona. Tombstone, Arizona.
So how you been shooting today?
I didn't shoot too great today. I'm a little off.
What happened?
I lost a lot.
How many rounds you lose?
All of them.
What about you, Pixie? How's you doing?
I did pretty well. I'm excited because I was on my game and I think I only got 3 X's, so I might have a chance to get in the finals if I keep my game on.
I think you'll have a chance.
I wish I shot as good as she did.
Yeah, you definitely have a chance. But anyway, we're here for another reason. We're doing this podcast because we have a very special guest. Mm-hmm. I've known him for a little time. He's a great guy. And we're going to bring him in. It's the mayor of Tombstone. Dusty, come on in.
How you doing this evening?
How you doing, Dusty?
I'm great. Great
Yeah.
to be here with you.
Glad you're
Great,
here.
and I'm really glad that you joined us.
Yeah, it's a great evening, beautiful evening.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Dragon
Yeah.
Mountains in the back.
Arizona weather, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us, Dusty, how long have you been mayor?
I'm in my 9th term as mayor.
Nine.
I'm the longest running mayor in the history of Tombstone.
Wow.
I started in 2000, and here we are, 2024.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go for another term.
And I mean, I've spoke to a lot of people in Tombstone, and they're saying that how much they love you being mayor. So
We've
you're
made it.
definitely doing a good job.
We've made a lot of accomplishments over the last 20-some years, and it's my home. You know, I
Yeah.
want to make sure that it's
So
taken care of, and for my grandkids, my kids, my grandkids, great-grandkids,
Yeah.
which I have plenty of right now. So.
Yeah.
That's good.
do you
Great.
plan on continuing to be mayor as long as you're voted in?
Well, I'm hoping that another term or 2 terms, somebody will step up and not do away with what we started and keep the town running the way it's been. Because there's a lot of work been put in to preserving Tombstone. Tombstone's probably one of the most famous historical towns in anywhere in the country,
Right.
or in the world as far as that goes. We have
Yeah.
people from all over the world. come.
Yeah, I mean, here, like, in the last couple of days, we've met people from Norway, Germany. There's all sorts of people that come here.
Yeah, and Tombstone has an attraction as being an Old West town. When you say Old West, it's synonymous with Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And a lot of people have come to my range, and I've got a bunch of your wagons that I bought from you. You remember that?
I remember that.
They're in this range and they're neat.
Yeah, we actually I've been in the stagecoach business for about 29 years,
Yeah.
going on 30 years. Prior to that, mining.
Right.
I was the last one to run a big open pit mine here in town, and I produced about as much silver and gold in about a 9 or 10 year period as they produced in the early days, which is somewhere around $40 million, $40 to $50 million.
Wow, that's a lot.
And modern technology.
Right.
Yeah.
But prices of silver and gold got to where we couldn't mine it at a profit anymore, and
Right.
so we had to shut it down.
We actually rode the one of the wagons, the tour guide thing over
Yeah.
in Tombstone the other day. All
Yeah,
of us
we
did.
went round, didn't we? It was great.
That was neat.
That was
That was
fun.
fun.
You
Yeah, if
got
you're ever
a
in
new-
Tombstone, do that.
Yeah, you got a new guy doing
Yeah,
the
we've got a
stagecoach?
new man training. Jason, he's new. He's been working the ground for about a year, a little over a year. But one of our drivers is getting ready to pull out and go back to Indiana and be a farmer, I think, or something. But
Well, he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
and,
So, Dusty, tell us about your family. Your family's original settlers here, aren't they?
we are. My family, actually, the Monument Ranch was my great-great-grandparents' homestead.
That's right
That's
here,
the
isn't it? There's
now
a wall there.
we're sitting at the Trapman Ranch, and that's where they
That
homesteaded.
is unbelievable.
And
There's still the
18
walls over there from their original homestead.
Yes.
That's neat.
And if you go into the saloon,
Yeah.
the root cellar is the original root cellar that my great-grandparents put in there.
Ah, that's what that is.
My great-grandmother was a Trotman. and she
Wow.
married John Escapule.
Yeah.
And then John Escapule, he was a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle, and he was doing a story about the boom of the Southwest, capture Geronimo.
Right.
And Ed Shefflin was an Indian scouter. He worked with Fort Huachuca.
Right.
And they had told my great-grandfather about Ed Shefflin, who was camped about 8 miles of what we know as Tombstone,
Right,
south of
right.
there. And they ran into him, and they become buddies, spent about 3 months with him. He gave him a contract to haul the timbers in from the surrounding mountains, the Huachucas, the Dragoons, and the Chiricahuas. And he also gave him a mine, which is about 2 miles south of where we're at right now.
Right.
And between 1890 and 1900, he took somewhere around $3 million worth of silver and gold out of that.
Wow.
Wow.
Bought ranches in Texas and ranches in Mexico, and he had ranches. He had the LTI Ranch, which is
Yeah.
the Dragoon Mountains, the ranch that surrounded his in-laws, which is the Trapman. So he had the Lucky Hills Ranch, and we've survived through a lot of hard times in Tombstone.
Yeah, there's been some hard times.
Right, but we've always managed to stay here.
That's
One of the
amazing.
good things that we see today was the parade. That was really
neat.
neat.
Yeah,
That
you
was
know,
a real
There
treat.
was a lot of people in that.
Yeah,
There's
it
all
was-
the
it was
little
a nice
kids swinging their things. We see you in the coach.
Yeah, I was kind of a surprise that actually that Lundau coach that I was riding is an original from Tombstone in the 1880s.
Wow.
Wow.
My great aunt owned the OK Corral, and when she owned it, that was one of the wagons
Oh,
that was
wow.
sitting in the OK Corral.
Wow.
And
That is neat.
That is
Yeah.
really neat.
Speaking
What
of that,
about-
what's some of the longest running businesses in Tombstone? Like,
Well,
what is the longest running
I
place
was
in Tombstone?
probably the Birdcage Theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Is probably one of the longest running, along with the Crystal Palace, and you've got Big Nose Kate Saloon, which is it's been working a long time, but the OK Corral, and it's probably the longest next to the Birdcage.
Right.
Okay.
When I was a young man or kid, maybe 10, 11 years old, my dad had a construction sand and gravel business here in town.
Right.
And my aunt owned the OK Corral. So Dad stored his trucks and tractors in the OK Corral and had part of the OK Corral and used it as a mechanic shop. But
That's neat.
she hired a guy by the name of Sid Wilson to come in and restore it. That's the way it is today. And he took it over and made it into an attraction, which it is an attraction. And it's the same way as it was back then. And she sold it in 1964. She sold it for $64,000 in
Wow.
1964.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't you wish?
That's
Wow.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely one of the original people around here, aren't you? I mean, do you see a lot of people come and go? Do a lot of people leave and move other
Right.
places?
You know, I've over the last 70 some years that I can remember, I'm 76 years old, so.
You still look young, Dustin.
Well, thank you.
You still
Thank
look
you.
young. You got a lot left in you.
Yeah, well, I've got an uncle. My uncle is 93, and my aunt is going to be 100 in December.
100.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's great.
So, and they're.
I bet she's got some stories to tell.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She was the sister right underneath my dad's.
Wow.
But no, that's yeah. You're right. I've seen a lot of people come and go.
Yeah.
And it seems like it hasn't changed in 140 some years. You know, my great granddad told Grandpa that there was an Indian shaman put a curse on that ridge up there, known as Goose Flats at the time,
Right.
that no two white men would ever get along on this ridge.
Really?
Never, yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
You know, and so if you think about it, you know, there was always a fraction, you know, between the Earps and the Cowboys, and they said the Cowboys were the good guys and the Earps and Doc Holliday were the bad guys. You know,
Right.
when when they had the gunfight at the OK Corral, well, Billy Clanton had $80-some in his pocket that my great-grandfather had paid him to break some horses for him.
Wow.
So the ranch was right next to their ranch.
Right.
So, yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it hasn't changed. There's still fractions going on today, and that's one of the jobs of being the mayor is you try to keep the peace amongst all of these guys.
Yeah.
There for a while, I thought all of my gunfighting groups were going to start actually putting real bullets in their guns.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So, getting on to the XFDA, is the XFDA always welcome here?
Always welcome here. You
Yeah.
know,
We like coming here.
We
Well,
like coming here.
you know, Wes Flowers, he was a fast draw artist, and, you know, and they used to come every year, 2 or 3 times a year they come
Right.
in. And we enjoy having you folks here, and
Good.
you're welcome here anytime.
We
That's
enjoy
right.
being here.
That's-
We'll make
that's
sure
good
that
to
you're
know.
accommodated for whatever you need.
Well, it matches the town. The
It does.
pastoral, you
It
know
does.
what I
It
mean?
works good.
We're doing it in a safe way. It's fun. We had a lot of spectators today, didn't
Oh,
we?
a bunch.
There was so many people watching
A
us.
lot.
It was great.
Well, we had a bunch last year when we had it here too.
Yeah,
A bunch of people.
Yeah, and you know, and I've never tried it. I did work for the sheriff's office for about 7 or 8 years, so they taught me to be accurate and not fast.
Yeah.
That's it.
You might
Yeah.
live longer that way.
Well, we've had police officers that have come and joined us, and when they've got their house on, they've gone
When they
like
start
that.
out, they're going back to their
Naturally go
training,
back to
you
their-
know.
to
We got to
their-
teach
Yeah,
them to
it-
shoot from the hip.
Yeah, you can't. You've got to.
Right.
You've got to. Yeah, Wes Flowers. He showed me a couple of times, but I said I'll shoot my foot off. I'm not going to do this.
Well, you wouldn't because we use wax bullets, so it'd be okay. Tombstone, it's kind of like a vacation area for people. So that
Yeah.
makes me wonder, where does the mayor of Tombstone go for vacation?
Well, I haven't had one in a long time, so
Yeah.
usually, when my wife, her health isn't that great, but when we'd go to Las Vegas. Or
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You like a bit of gambling, eh?
Yeah. Well, I'm a gambler. I have to be to stay here where I'm at and do what I do. Yeah.
That's great.
Do you have any special plans for Tombstone in the future?
Well, I'm always looking for a way to expand Tombstone, but yet keep Tombstone small. I would love to see. We've been annexing over the last 10, 15 years. I'd like to see another newer Tombstone come up where we have more amenities like grocery stores,
Sure.
Right. Right.
a bank, all the things that we used to have all
Yeah.
the time. But
That's right. You don't have a bank here, do you?
no,
Oh, wow. I didn't
we've
think
got a
about that.
credit union.
Credit union. Okay.
We utilize a credit union, but Bank of America was there for years and years. And,
There's plenty of ATMs though in these little
yeah.
Oh,
stores.
funny those.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, everybody wants to put an ATM in.
yeah, well,
You know,
makes
they're-
money.
They become the bank. Yeah.
That's neat.
what you got, Pixie? Got any other questions for the mayor?
I was curious about the tunnels.
Yeah.
How many tunnels are underneath Tombstone?
Well, you know, they say the Tombstone Mining District has close to 800 miles of it.
Man.
Wow.
And I mentioned that I was in the mining business prior to the stagecoach business, and I had all of the mines leased. That was the original mines. There was over 200 some claims, and during that time I had geologists and engineers, and we did a lot of underground research and sampling and see if we could figure out the best way to approach the silver and gold that was still left in Tombstone, because there's still a lot of silver and gold here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And we ended up doing an open pit type mine, large volume. However, when we shut that down, we were in the process of doing some exploration and turn it into an underground operation. And they're still working on that today.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
it may be that sometime in the future there'd be a mine shaft or a drift or a tunnel or whatever, a way to get in underneath south of Tombstone, but it would not. You'd never know that it was there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was told though back in the day, you know, when like in the 1800s, that the reason why there's so many tunnels is because a lot of the Chinese were working here, and they would only allow them to go into the city, but they had to go through the tunnels to go to work, and then they had to go home. They had to stay out of sight. Is that?
I don't know who made that story
Okay,
up,
I was just told that by somebody. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that either. I'm gonna ask
No,
you about
that's
that.
not true.
Okay.
The mines were run by big companies.
Okay.
And it was, you know, there was quite a few Chinese in Tombstone, but the majority of them were in the market business, in the laundry, and you know, and so the miners were mostly folks from other countries, Swedes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
German.
Swedish.
Yeah.
And people that were accustomed to working hard,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and which is my family, German.
Okay.
My, as you know, well, the Trotmans were German.
Right.
And my great-grandfather was, he came from France, Pau, France, but they called him a Basque French.
Right.
And so that's quite a mixture of French and German.
Okay.
And then we got the Indian, and we got everything else in it
Yeah.
over the generations. Yeah.
So, what do you know about some of the, you know, everybody says Tombstone, you know, is haunted. You know, they have all the haunting tours or anything. So, have you ever seen or
Well,
experienced anything like that?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yeah. The most that I've ever experienced in ghost or whatever you want to call him, I owned Big Nose Kate's for a number of years.
Right.
And I was closing the bar up, and my wife was not feeling well. She was laying down in the office. And I had put all of the ashtrays on that, you know, that time you smoked, on the bar. And I let the bartender out, locked the door, and walked back, and the ashtrays started jumping all over the
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, I'm really. So I didn't know what to do. So you know, you're trying to run. I don't know what to do.
I wouldn't know what to do either.
I think I'll be running.
I went over and told my wife. I said, get up. We gotta go. This place is haunted. There's things going on in here. And she says, are you drunk? I said, no. This is true.
I tell you, tell them what happened to you yesterday at that mercantile store. Was it
The Spur.
The Spur.
The Spur.
Wow.
Yes. Well,
Or Broncos or something? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Broncos is what it
Spur,
was.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a chair and one of the boots just slipped off, and I didn't know. I was like, "Oh, it's just angled," or was that something?
But the lady told you to sit in that chair
Yes.
and asked for the little boy named Tommy or something like that.
His name is Tommy.
And all of a sudden,
he's a
a
6-year-old
boot
boy.
shot out.
I believe there's something there that none of us can explain.
I've heard the most haunting building was the city building or something, or the courthouse or something. Is that
Well, the old city hall.
City Hall? That's it. Yeah.
Which is the marshal's office now.
Right. Yeah.
You know, in 2000 when I was elected mayor, that's where the offices were. And there's been a few nights where I'd be working late and there's noises I couldn't explain.
Wow.
And I cut the night short and left.
I would have cut it short too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. That gives me the weebie-jeebies.
Well, Dusty, it's been a pleasure. I mean, I've known you for a little time now, and it's been a pleasure talking to you every time. And I bet you got so many stories.
well, I could keep talking all night. but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the next time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for supporting the XFDA.
Yes.
And anybody can come out and see Dusty. You'll see him walking around. He'll come up and chat with you all the time. He's a great guy. And again, I want to say thank you very much
You're
for
more than
coming on
welcome.
the XFDA
Yes, thank you.
podcast.
Yeah.
Dusty.
And come check out the Monument Ranch. This is a
Yeah.
really,
It's
really
beautiful.
cool
Ranch.
place.
It's a great
Stunning.
place.
Nice place, but you know.
All right. Well, thank you, Dusty, very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
And check out xfdapro.com. Thank you, Dusty. That was great, sir.